What's up, everybody? So this is Teen Mom Season 2, Episode 4. So this is like the aftermath of the big fight that happened between Ashley and Brianna. And honestly, this episode didn't have much to it, but I'm going to still like recap it just for the sake of doing so. So this is like the morning after and everybody's waking up, getting breakfast and going, to eat in their prospective spots and talking shit about Ashley. So it zooms to Brianna and her mom, who are saying that, they don't regret nothing and it's all Ashley and it's all Ashley and T's fault. And Brianna saying, that she just, she's sorry that she couldn't touch the girl because the girl spit on her and she just feels so violated by this. And Ashley is like, basically the same way, like she doesn't regret anything. So the girls get outside after fixing themselves a plate and they are talking about the situation, and everybody is pretty much down on Ashley and saying that, they can't believe this happened. Spitting was so disgusting. They then talk about the fact that Amber and Kate are not going to come out of their rooms all day because Kate is having anxiety and panic, and they blamed it on the actions of Ashley from the previous night, when honestly this is a trait that Kate has. Kate has anxiety and depression, and something can trigger her. And it's not even the damn fight. She said it wasn't the fight later on in the episode, but anything can trigger somebody with mental illnesses like this. And honestly, Amber just probably didn't want to be bothered. Okay, when you're used to being alone as much as Amber is, you need time to decompress, and she just didn't want to be bothered with y'all. But of course, blame it on the fight. So anyway, you expect Jade and a whole bunch of other people to have their grievances about Ashley because Brianna is Jade's best friend. But out of everybody at the table, honestly, Cheyenne seemed the most disgusted by everything. She seemed the most judgmental. Like, who picks up a wine bottle? Who does that? Anybody could have got hurt. Cheyenne never sees when she blows up and turns over tables, but it's fine. They were lighting her ass up on Twitter, from everything to her illegitimate baby daddies to the fact that she has wowed out herself. So hopefully she reads some of those and just calms down a little bit. Like, I just feel like all the dick eating at the table wasn't necessary. So Kate, who decides that she just cannot deal with her day, decides to call Tyler because that is her person. Like, both of them suffer with mental illnesses and they both lean on each other. It's actually adorable and cute. I love me some Tyler. So she calls Tyler and says, she can't deal with this. She needs him. He's like, all right, I'm on the next plane. Period. Big, energy. So Brianna and Roxy meets the girls outside, and everybody is treating her like she lost a limb, or, her best friend just died or something. And they're like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, it was a little too much. So then Kaya takes it upon herself to take over the conversation and say, you know what? I would have tore this whole house down if that was me. You handled yourself so well. And that shit pissed me off because I remember when Ashley tried to spit on Kayla, and Kayla agrees, like, yeah, that happened. Then MTV does a flashback of the Teen Mom Young and Pregnant reunion where Ashley flipped out on all her co-stars for not being there for her. And at the end, Ashley did walk away and said, I should spit in your face. But she never tried to spit on Kayla. And the two of them were just about to square up and fight on stage, it looked like. But Kayla ran with that narrative and shook her head. Yeah, that happened. While MTV tried to piece together clips to make it seem like Ashley was attempting to spit on the girl. But it never happened. The reason I know that all these girls got hyped up and riled up over each other is because they keep piggybacking off of each other and saying, you right, and giving other people the heart to stand up and say something. Like, Kaya has been very boisterous ever since she got home and on the show about how she feels about Ashley, because she's pretty much being backed up and hyped up by these girls that's been on the show for years, and she's fallen into this mentality. She never really had this many words for the girl before. I'm just saying. Like, Kaya has always given pick me, I want to fit in, I don't want to give the outcasts. She's always been that. Since, like, Young and Pregnant first season, she always been, I don't want to be the outcast, which is why she started distancing herself from Ashley. Now she's doing it again. I don't want to be the outcast. So Kate makes her dramatic entrance into the room to talk to the rest of the girls, and she is just visibly shaken. Like, she can't really articulate her words the way she wants to. She's trembling at the fingers, and it's just terrible to see because you can tell that she's been engulfed by anxiety and been there, done that. After anxiety has set in for a couple of minutes to like 30 minutes to an hour, you can't even control your limbs. So it's really sad to see Kate in this state, and Cheyenne is actually trying to help her, give her advice. Said, did you try grounding? Have you called Ty? She's like, I downed a whole bottle of CBD. I'm just trying to be better, but I can't do nothing right now. And I 100% like, oh my gosh, like it's just bringing back flashbacks. I relate so much to the anxiety. So she says that she's going to meet with Dr. B later on because, at least that's something. Even though Dr. B is just a hired actress. So Kate meets with Dr. B, and Dr. B is asking her, like, what happened? Is it because of what happened last night? And Kate says, no, it is not. I feel like I brought up accidentally old trauma with me and my mom, and it just sparked stuff from my childhood. Kate has a lot of childhood trauma with her mom basically being drunk all of the time. This is what she told Dr. B. Her mom was drunk all the time. She had to take care of her. She would catch her mom and her mom's friends like pass out on the couch. She would go put cover over her. She would take care of her mom. And that is hard. Can you imagine growing up like that? Like when you basically have to take care of yourself and your mom. And the mom was like, she's right. I was drunk all the time. I drank a lot. I drank every single day. And kudos to April for admitting that she was fucked up. And MTV flashes back to some old episodes of Kate and her mom, and I forget how bad it actually was. Like, Kate's mom always looked cracked out. She always looked like she just got up out of bed. She didn't even wash. Like, April actually looks better today than she has ever looked that I have seen her on television. So she might not be completely sober, but I think that she's light years away from what she was when Kate was growing up. So Kate has definitely suffered. So is Tyler. I love Tyler. So the girls are back at the house having like a family play date or whatever. And Macy suggests that they go tubing because I guess they're not doing any exercise today. I guess it's their chill day since everybody's so freaked out about the fight. So Macy's like, let's go tubing down the river. And then Cheyenne's mom is like, hey, moms, how about we stay here and cook and clean? So everybody agrees to their respective roles, and then the girls head out to do this tubing exercise, which was annoying as fuck to watch. It was not fun to watch. First of all, Cheyenne was like, can we drink? That's the number one thing that she wanted because there was nobody there but Cheyenne and Macy. And then it was Jade, Kaya, and Kayla. Like, when I tell you guys that this was the most boring scene I've ever seen on television, it was. Like, they were floating down. Nobody really had any much conversation. There was no jokester of the crew. There was no funny girl of the crew. It was just like watching paint dry. And then Kaya randomly screams if she sees a bug, or Cheyenne in her confessional like, yeah, my butt scratched against a twig. But I was just like, okay. So this was supposed to be like an outing where MTV could get some footage of the girls, and it would be hilarious and we would love it, but it was just some filler and nothing. Like, y'all, it was so boring. I don't know. I shouldn't expect somebody to take their top off and jump in the water, but I was expecting a little bit more than this. Like, wasted camera time. I wanted to snatch that camera off the front of that damn tube. Shish. So Dr. B meets with Roxanne and Brianna, and Dr. B asks what happened. And Roxanne is like, Ashley and her mom was talking shit at the dinner table, and then they kept talking shit, and then I got spit on. No accountability, right? So then she says, Dr. B's like, okay, well, was there violence on both ends? So Brianna's like, yeah, I mean, I threw something at her, but that's beside the point. And Dr. B was like, no, if there was violence on both ends, then you guys are both wrong. So then Roxanne chimes in. She's like, you threw a hydro flask? I didn't know you did that. And it's like, how you didn't know that? I thought y'all just had a scene where she said she threw, okay, whatever. But they're accepting no accountability at all. And Brianna's just like, I want to stay here because I've been learning so much. And me and my mom, she just wants to stay there because it's a free vacation and she can hang out with Jade and the other teen mom girls that she likes, that she doesn't see but once a year. But the fact that Brianna said in this is the second time now that Brianna and her mom have had like a sit down by themselves, and there was absolutely no accountability taken for their actions and what happened. Why the hell is everything just so one sided? Why is the cast? Why is the people who were in the altercation? Why does everybody just feel like Ashley and T fought themselves, argued with themselves, threw stuff at themselves? Like, there has to be two to tango, and no accountability and nobody else holding them accountable is pissing me off. They were just as wrong, if not wronger, according to the conglomerates of what I've seen on Twitter. So the moms are left at the house, the grandmas, and they decide to cook for the girls, which is weird because I thought they decided that before the girls decided to go out, but whatever. So Cheyenne's mom's at the kitchen. She's like, yes, I live such a zen life. I juice in the morning and I put garlic in my juice. So Jay's mom's like, you juice? She's like, yeah, I tried that shit one time. It had kale and all type of nasty shit in it. Put some sugar in there for me because I can't do it. Like, Jay's mom and April's mom, they're real. Like, they were themselves this trip. Like, I can't say that for nobody else's mom and grandma, but Kate's mom, Jay's mom, they're gonna be themselves wherever they go. So then they flash back to this scene with the girls that's just so boring that really I have nothing to talk about. They were screaming like, yeah, I don't want to do this. Oh, the water's yucky. Ooh, insects. So, like, moving on. So Coach B then finally meets with Ashley and T and asks them how they feel about the event. And T immediately says, that she's remorseful. She feels bad for the way that she reacted, and she feels bad for the way that T and Brianna acted. She, to me, immediately took accountability for her actions, what happened. You can tell that I feel like she's been going through it in that room. She's been thinking, this is going to be on TV. I didn't want to be portrayed this way again. And it's just sad because it looks like she's very conflicted with whatever happened, versus Roxanne and Brianna seem to be very sure of themselves because the rest of the girls were backing them. So they were hyped up. Like, when I tell you every girl in this house just riled themselves up to make Ashley and her mom feel like shit, you can see it in these damn shoots. You can see how tormented they look. So, T's like, all of this drama couldn't have come at a worse time. And then Ashley reveals to Dr. B that she's indeed pregnant. She doesn't know if she wants to keep the baby or not because Bar's in jail and things just ain't right. He could be facing up to 5 years. She's in nursing school. She does not want to wallow in the fact that Bar is locked up because, let's face it, Bar has had issues where he's been locked up plenty of times. She doesn't want to deal with that. She doesn't want to deal with the fact that she has school now and now she has to deal with a pregnancy. Then all these girls is on her ass, just like beating her down, harping her, talking about her. She's this, she's that. So honestly, they make the decision that they want to leave before the decision that they have to leave is, smacked down on them. Honestly, I believe that if Ashley and her mom didn't say, we want to leave, then Larry and them went to Brianna and said, y'all gotta leave. Because, hey, let's keep both of them and hope they keep fighting, is how I feel that MTV was going to play it out. But whatever. So after Ashley and her mom make the decision to leave, Larry and the other executive producers of the show decide they have to come and tell Brianna and her mom that they have to go. And they did not leave quietly. They was kicking and fighting, saying, why do I have to go? We were just defending ourselves. So Larry's like, well, you threw a hydro flask, mug, and it was very heavy and it could have hit anybody. And Roxanne's like, well, hold on. T threw a water bottle at me. She threw a wine bottle at me. She tried to. And Larry's like, whatever was good for you is what's good for them. Both of you guys are going home. Because they were trying to defend themselves and say, we don't deserve to go home and blah, blah, blah. Larry said, all four of y'all going home. So what's up with that? So Brianna then calls Jade, who's in the car, and she's like, oh my God, Bree's getting sent home. And everybody is acting all surprised, like they don't know that Brianna did anything. And they're damn near on the bus crying because Brianna is going home. Jay later comes on social media and says that she was upset that Brianna was going home, but the reason why she was crying and upset and on the phone and going off was because the van was driving around for hours and would not take them back home so they could eat, sleep, take showers, and, just go to their own quarters. MTV was driving them around for hours, giving Ashley and Brie enough time to pack their bags and get on the plane out of there without any interference from the rest of the cast. News also spread amongst the grandmothers, and they were also surprised and shocked that and Brianna and Roxanne had to go home. Like, everybody was just so anti-Ashley and T. It was crazy. And honestly, I believe that MTV edited this in the worst way, where it just made it seem like nobody in the world had a good word to say to Ashley and her mom the entire time they were there. It was just edited horribly. Hopefully, these two or these four will not be the topic of conversation moving on. And I know that ratings were probably sucking this week, and next week they're going to suck even more because don't nobody care about the rest of these girls and their trauma. They just don't care.